I want to talk about procrastination, the idea of procrastination, the emotional debt that procrastination brings into your life. This idea that hinders you, that everything that you want to do is not gonna work, right? And I'm just reading from the few notes that I wrote from my laptop right here, right? So, procrastination, it's basically not about being lazy, but it's a debt, and not the kind of money debt, but the emotional debt, right? So it's a compound interest that invests in a negative self-attitude, right? It invests in low self-esteem, low confidence, whatever it may be, right? So it feeds your mind to say that whatever you do is not gonna work, or it is gonna work but it's gonna fail later on. And people, trust me, procrastination is what everyone has. Even top billionaires, even moguls that are existing today, they probably procrastinated. It's all part of nature. But the difference between them and those who are still procrastinating is this: they have learned to shift and rewire their brain into creating procrastination from a negative idea perspective to a positive one, and making it work for them, right? Cool. So I want to touch on key point ideas on why procrastination it is what it is, and how you're gonna change that idea of procrastination from it not working for you to it working for you, right? So the first point I want to touch is the emotional debt, right? And how it heavies your brain into constantly living in a low stress attitude, always feeling guilt that you cannot explain to anyone or to even yourself, and mental exhaustion that keeps you constantly wondering why you think it's not gonna work. So you're basically tiring your mind on the idea that this thing is never gonna work, right? So basically you're not resting, you're carrying an unfinished business that hasn't even started, right? It's basically still an idea. So the whole point of procrastination, right? Procrastination taxes your brain constantly. It's like the government, right? You work 9 to 5 hard, you work. Come end of the month, the government taxes you, put the money into whatever accounts that they put in, and then they give you the rest of the money, right? That you hardly so worked for. Same as procrastination. You put your ideas, you took time to create dots and combine the dots of making that idea work for you. And then procrastination comes in and says, no, I'm going to take half of this, I'm going to put it aside, and make you feel that whatever you are working for is not going to work for you. Right? Just like everyone feeling like 9 to 5 is not going to work for them. So basically, think as procrastination as the government that's trying to control you. Right? So and this is what caused the longer delay for you, right? The task feels bigger than it is. Your confidence shrinks. You start to feel scarier than finishing, right? You basically go through a phase of you not being sure about your own idea anymore, right? You constantly start to think that I don't think this is gonna work, but how did I arrive to this idea? No, I might as well leave the idea. You give up on the idea and whatsoever, right? And this is what it does. It does it for a reason, people, right? your brain starts associating the task with discomfort and not effort. Right? Quote that. Your brain starts to associate the task with discomfort and not effort. That's a difference right there. Right? Basically, it means your ideas, they feel uncomfortable for you. And when they start to feel uncomfortable, you never work towards them. You never achieve them. You never execute them. Right? So it's basically like the government checks in you your 9 to 5 monthly salary or wages, and you feel like, bro, what's the point of even me working if they still gonna take half of my money or quarter of my money, whatever it may be, right? So it's an emotional debt that keeps on compounding constantly and constantly and constantly, and then you start to get used to it, right? That's the second point I want to talk about. All right. So the third point is how to pay it off, right? So I'm gonna give you a couple of steps that have worked for me and why I started doing these videos on YouTube and TikTok and whatsoever, right? So step one, shrink the payment, right? So the basic idea for this one is you have to shift your mind to start telling yourself to say, how do I finish this? How do I execute this? Right? So it can be whatever, small idea, big idea, whatever idea it may be, right? But first question you should ask yourself is, how do I execute this idea, right? You wanna write how you're gonna execute the idea, and you wanna study how you're going to execute the idea, right? You write down one sentence, set a timer, and then you start to think of all the positivity that can come out from the idea that you want to execute, right? Maybe 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes. And I know this might sound corny and whatsoever, but it's worth it. It's because now you are learning to train your mind to reduce the compound interest of procrastinating, right? You are reducing that interest from your own brain, little by little, baby steps, right? So you are giving your brain some what you call activity, right? You are giving it a task to constantly start to believe in its own ideas, start to have confidence in its own ideas, start to shift its mind from procrastinating and all the negative ideas and turning them into positive and achievable ideas, right? Step number two is close mental tabs. So write down everything you're avoiding, like I said, so you can learn to strip down all the things that you feel like it's not gonna work for you. And this helps your brain relax and basically focus on the plan, right? If you are in a shoe, if you want to start a shoe wash company, and you feel like you have this idea that's not gonna work for you, you write them down, right? You see the gaps from you executing that idea, right? And then this is what you do. You are going to take those gaps and you're gonna fill them, right? And this trains your mind to never ever again think that there's something as failure or think that something can never work, right? You are now starting to shift your mind around procrastination, right? You are moving from not going to work to willing to put an effort in it working, right? So you're gonna fill the gaps in whatever you feel is not gonna work for that particular idea. And this helps your mind again to know what's the plan to know what's the main purpose, what's the main objective, because it's something to think about all the negative ideas, and that will lead you astray from the whole plan of what you are really trying to execute. And it's another to forget what is it that you are really trying to achieve here, right? So, and kinda helps you to remember the whole objective, the whole main purpose of you having to execute the particular idea. So point number 3 is finish one thing per day, right? Like I said, baby steps. Take it slow, take it at your own pace, don't rush it, right? So the whole point is, when you take it slow, you are able to see everything at a larger scale. You are able to see where you need to create a room for improvement, right? You are training your mind to no longer believe in negativity and start focusing on all the positivity that you're gonna get from that particular idea, basically. So it will refund all the negativity that you had before, right? It will stop dating you from your own ideas that you wanted to execute in the first place, right? And you want to take it step by step and consistently, so your mind learns to adapt into having this new idea of yourself, this new idea of you willing to prove that everything that is in your mind is going to work for you and you are going to benefit from it, right? So momentum kills procrastination, like I said, consistently. So, if you consistently do it, you even forget that you were always consistently procrastinating, right? So it also creates a belief that you have ideas that you're still going to achieve later on, right? So to bring you to conclusion, I want to summarize everything that I've said. So procrastination, it's not a time problem, it's not a money problem, it's not a is it achievable problem. It's an emotional problem. An emotional problem that disguises itself as fear, right? So you basically fear for everything. Basically fear that you're not going to have enough money, you're not going to have enough investors or stakeholders in your idea. Yeah, you're not going to have enough time. You don't think it's achievable. You don't think it's realistic. All those whatever problems that you might have in your idea. So the more you start to ignore those ideas, the more it builds the compound interest into your brain, right? So basically, you need to shift from ignoring to paying attention to it. The more you pay attention to it, the more you see the gaps. Then you fill in the gaps. When you fill in the gaps, you start to build the momentum in it. And you start to build the momentum, you kill the procrastination easily, so, and little by little. You don't have to rush it. Take your time, make it in your own pace, right? So the other thing you should do is ask yourself, what's one small payment you can make today? A little thing, whatever it may be. Maybe I want to go ride a bicycle, but it's raining. Go do it. It doesn't matter, right? The rain has never killed anyone. You wanna go play soccer, but you feel like you might be lazy. Get up, go do it. Just say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and get up. Just do it. Nothing can hold you back. The only thing can hold you back is your own perception of your own reality. If you think something's not gonna work for you, procrastination starts to build its own momentum against that momentum, right? Against your own momentum. So you need to learn to control your own brain at some point in time. You need to learn how to conquer your own brain. You need to learn how to make it obedient to the things that you want to achieve, right? So what are the small things that you can achieve for today, for a week, for a month, for a year, whatever it may be, right? Those small things fill in the gaps to building a momentum that will carry you to becoming an achiever, to becoming a confident person, right? So basically, procrastination, it's all part of nature. Like I said, it's something that you must never get rid of, but it's something that you must learn to shift and make it work for you. Because everything in this world, you have to make it work for you. You have to benefit from it. It's a mutual benefit for you, right? It's a part of you, so make it work for you. If you get rid of it, it's kind of like getting rid of part of yourself. So you don't want to do that. You want to train it, you want to understand it, you want to analyze it, and you want to make it work for you. So do those things, people. And yeah, that's all, I guess.